Okay, we're back. We're gonna do now. This has a little like a red mark in there. I don't know if that came from something that was in my box, but that's not normal for that to have it. And this isn't the nicest branch I've ever had, but it will do. It's a little bit bigger. Make sure you have a glove on. Like I said, it's pretty dangerous to do one of these without a glove. I started to score it, as you can see, my initial cut. So I kind of just eyeball it. You can take a pencil and mark it if you want. This is your first time doing this, and if it's to your liking, just to do a freehand like I do, that usually works a little bit better for me. Let me get my lighting a little different here. I don't care for how that's looking there. Okay, there we go. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and put what I usually do first, before I even score it, I kind of start trimming the first layer. There's a layer on here, as you can tell, if you can see it. There's a small layer that needs to be cut out from the bark to the actual branch, the wood underneath. And so what I do is I kind of just mark off what is really going to, you notice I keep my hands, I keep my thumb here, and I'm just keeping my hands out of the way. Please wear a glove when you do this. Especially beginners, it can be really nasty cut because you don't have a lot of control because it's rounded. Okay. See, now we're getting to the first, see this? This is what we're looking for. So we're just going to kind of trim all this out a little bit. And what I do is I take my spray bottle, and you can throw them in a bucket of water if they're not green and if they're a little bit more I just keep working my way around. Now, where it's still brown, I'm going to probably cut that out yet. I'm going to cut a lot more out yet because this is a little bit larger than what I usually use, but I like this size. I really do. This is about an inch, I would say about an inch and a quarter or so. So what we're going to do now is, what I do is I lay it on a table and I kind of keep my fingers away from where I'm cutting. So up here, I have it leaning against the table here, and I'm just going to start making the oval. I kind of just eyeball it and I go around. I keep it on the table. I don't carry it in my lap to do this. I don't do it above my lap or just freehand. I always kind of have a table here to lean it against, and that way I know that I have more control because my hands are on the table, and if I were to slip, I've already gone right through the tablecloth at home when I was trying to do this. So notice how I went all the way around. Okay, so that's where it's scored, if you can see it. So what I do is I take my little bottle of water and my mixture of rubbing alcohol and water, and I just let that sit for a little bit. Okay, and I just let it sit. Now I know I got a lot of water on that right now. And you let it sit for a little bit, and then you take your knife after it sits for a while, and you can see kind of where it's scored. You just kind of start taking off the first layer, because down here you're never really going to get it the first shot. So what you want to be very careful is that you don't push it all the way through. Like, you want to be real careful how you do this. But if you let it soak for a while, a lot of times this will just peel off. You can go underneath here with your knife, like what I'm doing there, and it will just kind of peel off. Okay, see how it's starting to peel? If I would give it enough time, but I don't have that with the video to have that kind of time. So what I do up here is I keep going up there a little further, and just the point of my knife, you know. This is where you really have to learn to control your knife, because if you don't, you're gonna have all kinds of problems. And whatever you do, is like I pulled it there, but if it's near the edge here, you do not want to pull it, then you'll pull the whole bark off. So what we'll do, we'll go back, we'll rescore that same line all over again. Alright? Keep your fingers out of the way. Lean it on the table. Do your corners just very carefully. Like I said, put your gloves on. I'm just, whoops, I gotta go up that way. A little hard to see with the camera in my face here. See how it's coming apart? Alright? That's what you want. Alright? That's what you want. But it's not all going to peel off. So, again, the ends are really tough to go. When you go, because you're actually going along with the grain when you're cutting it down this way. So. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start chopping a little bit out. See if we can get down to that. This really takes longer than you think sometimes. Depends. Now if it's green, it's a lot easier. You know, you don't have to fuss as much, but I'm just very fortunate to have plenty of this on hand. See how it's coming apart? See that? And then you want to go up here and do the same thing. See how that's coming apart there? Good. Now I'm going to go right up there. See? There we go. We've got this end to do here. And after you get this all cut out like this, okay, what I do is I spray it a little bit again. You'll see it's whiter in some sections than others. What you want to do, you just want to take your knife and just kind of take that little edge off. Go right up to the edge there and clean it up so it's all white all the way around. See how easy that is? Just take a little sliver of it off. And then after you get that all done and cleaned up, then it's ready to do your design on there. Alright? Now, a lot of times what I do is, if I'm in the mood to do this part of it, because it can take a little bit of time, I might do 3 or 4 in advance. And then when I'm ready, I put the design on them. Let them soak a little bit with some of the water mixture. But usually when you score it and you put that mixture on it, it soaks right into where you did your line, cut your line. And that's pretty cool. Alright, so this is how it's done. We'll come back with it completely cleaned off and ready for our design. I'll try to figure out which one I'm going to do here. And see, right here you can go right up to the edge. Just be careful you don't cut into the bark. Just take little slivers off. Try not to hack it all out at once, otherwise you'll have all these hack marks all over it. Alright, so this is see how I'm using my thumb to push it? Alright, good. So now it's almost ready for the next stage. We'll be back for the next part.